Ryan from Southeast Pit Report. And once again, we're hanging out here with Sworn In. They were on the Monster Energy Outbreak Tour with Attila, like Monster Flames and Crown of the Empire. How's it going so far? I know it's still kind of early and stuff, but how's the show reception's been for you guys?
Unreal. Amazing. It's day 3 and it's the fucking biggest tour ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Before this, what was the biggest one you guys have done?
Yeah. And by one.
Amir?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys have a record out called Death Card, correct?
Yeah.
Go into detail, like kind of what that's about and what the lyrics are about and everything.
It is basically a conceptual story about a guy, I guess, or a human being who undergoes a traumatic experience and kind of starts to slowly lose his like metaphorical senses, like his mind, his heart, and then slowly progresses to losing his physical abilities like sight, and eventually the character dies. It's based off of tarot cards, and not exactly saying that death is the worst thing in the world, but rather kind of like a new beginning kind of thing.
Yeah. So you guys want to, you play a new song tonight on the store. What's that song called?
The song's called Sunshine.
Okay, is that going to be on the new record you guys are putting out?
Yes.
So is this new record going to follow along with Death Card, kind of?
We can't talk a whole lot about the new record. We can talk about the song Sunshine.
Okay.
The new record is...
We can tell you it's conceptual.
Yeah,
okay.
It goes with the tarot cards.
Okay, so the Sunshine follows the Death Card?
Wouldn't be the Death Card, but it follows tarot cards, I guess, in terms of like...
It's not really a follow-up story to the Death Card necessarily.
Okay, I got you.
It's kind of its own other thing.
Alright, awesome. Well, speaking of the music and stuff, we have a fan question. Ethan in South Carolina, he wanted me to ask you guys, you guys are thinking about throwing you back on guitar, Tyler, having Gene come back in and do starting stuff? Like,
that's the worst question. Actually, the closest thing we've ever thought to that is just like, we honestly didn't have time, but when we were recently recording, we were like, hey, it'd be very interesting if Eugene recorded, like, say, backups or whatever, and we just never got to that.
Okay.
It was just like a cool idea we wanted to try, but we weren't able to.
He does a lot of backup stuff live, too.
Okay. Yeah.
We're hoping some kids is like, it's like a little treat for the kids who are like, into that.
Yeah, apparently it's like a big thing that,
I'm surprised it's
people
been so long
and stuff.
Yeah, and kids are we still hear about it. I'm just like, I'm surprised that kids are somehow finding it when it's just released free.
What are you thinking? What are you doing? Shit.
But I mean, I guess I see where they're coming from. Like, I'm happy they like it. It's just, we can't play old songs to people who are just hearing us for the first time, and then they're like, never gonna be able to figure out where the song they just heard is to be found.
Yeah, it's all about progress, man. We don't want to go backwards. We want to go forwards.
Like, we are not that band. We don't know that anymore.
I mean, it's fun, but we realize we're obviously an up-and-coming band, for lack of better words, so we're grateful to get 20-minute slots on a tour like this, you know what I mean? So we can't really push it.
And another guy that's kind of like you guys that's been, kind of like blowing up past end of last year, really this one's Fit for King, and, they've been coming up too, so, like, what do you think it is about you guys that separates you guys from the rest of the bands that are, like, coming up? Because, 4 years ago, Attila was opening up for bands like Sleeping with Sirens, and here they are, like, headlining the tours and stuff, so, like, what is it that you guys are trying to do?
It's really hard to say from the inside. It's very hard to kind of, like, analyze yourself that way. I don't know, I
think a lot of it is the kind of, like, emotion that we put behind it, and I think that was a big part of why Start End blew up the way it did, and Death Card blew up the way it did, is that we're really real and honest about what we do, and we put that into the music and the words in our live performance especially. We like to be able to give people who come to the show something relatable and something that they can go home and, they experience something with people who know what they're going through.
I guess, like, we try to basically sync everything up so that it's not just the music sounds this way, it's like we look how the music sounds. It's all like a big circle of shit. Like, we have, obviously we don't hands down around the clock, we aren't depressed, I mean, like in the same way our music is, but that's also our outlet, so we try to make everything tie together, I guess.
And tonight on stage you mentioned something about, struggling with suicide and depression, and it's not a bad thing to go and get help and stuff, and so it's great that this kind of music, as heavy as it is, and some people might, call it the quote-unquote devil's music. I mean, it's really uplifting in a way to reach out to kids who are struggling with that and write about that kind of stuff.
It's all an outlet.
Yeah.
Because we were there, we're still facing it, like, life currently isn't always dandy, like...
I mean, we're in this vehicle right now, but, I mean, it's all great, we're on this amazing tour, it's so great, and as good as things are. You know, I woke up this morning and had a terrible panic attack for no goddamn reason. Like, you know, no matter how good things get, there's always times where it's shitty, and people need to know like you're not alone with that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's the way I look at it, at least.
All right, so what do you? I know you can't talk about the record and stuff, but what do you guys plan to do to close out 2014 and open up 2015? If you guys have anything you can talk about it.
We're hoping with some and we're hoping some details will hopefully be out by the end of the year about our future, basically. Okay. We're trying to, as of now, keep it under the cover, and then we're just hoping by the end of the year that things are a little bit more on the table, so people know what's in store, I guess.
It's all coming together. Yeah, being patient.
One thing that was going around the online community, I guess, when y'all released your latest music video, is that you were, you know, the centerpiece of it. You were just kind of like
talking about the Dead Soul video.
Yeah, that one. Okay. You guys were, I forgot the name of it. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But you were sitting at the table, and then a lot of fans are wondering, well, where's the rest of the band? So
that's a great question.
Yeah.
The way I'll explain this is that music video did not come out the way any of us wanted to. It was extremely low budget and last minute. We did it the day before we started the tour in the dude's garage in like 2 hours. It was very not planned out, I guess, and you know, should have thought about it a little bit more before we did it. And if we could go redo it and do it in a way where we could include the entire band and some photo shots and stuff like that, I absolutely would. But you know what it is.
Like our intentions for it was for like it to be more of an artistical piece than like just a straightforward music video. And I guess it's kind of hard for certain people to get that, but especially when it came off like that, you know.
I didn't want to be like, look at me, kind of thing, like,
and that's how people interpret it, of course, because people want to hate on anything. It's just bound to
give them something.
I can see the artistic approach, you know, kind of, you know, the way it went there, but you know, some people were, you know, just kind of going, well, where's the rest of the band? Does he think he's the band? And
we've got a great knack for having people kind of pick apart everything we fucking do.
Yeah. Speaking of that, one thing I did notice is around, I guess it was the beginning of this year or last year, this parody band came around called Sworn Out, I guess.
Yeah, let's
okay.
We'll say that we're glad that died.
Well, what I was going to say is follow up with is, how do you guys feel about the, you know, I guess supportive, humorous kind of.
We see what they're doing.
Yeah, like,
we know what they're doing.
Yeah,
like we've been there.
Yeah.
We've been there.
Yeah.
It's just it's.
I was cool with it until they printed T-shirts.
But also it was a very unusual sort of thing. It was like a third party thing. So it's just a big mess. We're just happy it's all over.
Well, I mean, you got that one kid out there making like you know heavy metal. I think Jesse Kirk probably produced the Spongecore thing. I don't know if you guys heard that. It's this kid. He makes like a down tempo music, like SpongeBob quotes and stuff. And so just getting your take on this whole play on the whole I guess the down tempo genre and stuff.
That's not really our realm. I mean, like obviously, I don't mean to talk like I'm like mature in any way more than anyone else, but we kind of listen to stuff when we were kids. Honestly, I don't mean
I still listen to it all the time.
Kids is the one who listens to it more, but now we get so much of it that we kind of want to break.
When you're around metal 24/7, sometimes you want to distance yourself from metal.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but you know, kind of along those lines, a lot of these newer like down tempo bands coming up, not necessarily kind of like ripping you guys, but you know they're kind of like pulling some stuff from you. Have you noticed that the trend of these?
It's very hard to say that because it's.
You can see the influence.
You can see it, but you don't want to claim that you see it when it. You know, nobody's gonna say what they're thinking of when they songs.
Like we obviously draw influence from stuff too. That's just how music works. That's how art works. Like it's a constant cycle. So it's not like
we never really get upset about stuff like that.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Who has influenced your music, by the way?
It's really hard to say. Like we try, if we're drawing influence from anything, it's something very different than us. It's gonna be like image-wise, you could say a lot of people draw their comparison to My Chemical Romance, and then when it comes down to like the music and stuff or artistic approach, there's stuff like Klaus Nomi, which nobody even knows who the fuck that is, but we take literally just inspiration from how fucking weird he is, and then there's bands that are like not even in this genre that we just literally just like the music and we want to just make music that's catchy or etc.
Like when it really comes down to it, we're just trying to be the band that all of us have always wanted to hear and see live, you know?
Yeah, we want to be our own favorite band.
Exactly. We're trying to please ourselves with everything. And I notice a lot of things online is people say that everything we do is some big marketing scheme. Like, first of all, that's like such bullshit. We're doing this because we think it's sick. Like, we want to do this. Like, these are our ideas that we come up with. Like, it's not our manager or label pushing this on us. Like, you guys gotta do this to sell records. It's like, nah, this is our idea of what is sick, and this is how we want to portray our band.
Yeah.
Tell us find a way to market it, basically, with how abstract it is. So it's just kind of like, of course, there is marketing with everything, but it's not, the music isn't being written literally to sell. It's music that's being written, then we need to find a way to sell it.
Okay.
So that's kind of what it's like a label and etc. for.
Okay. Along the marketing lines, you guys, made a jump to a bigger label and stuff. So how has that helped you guys versus who you guys were on? We Are Triumphant.
We were never on
I'll fill this real quick. We were never officially signed with We Are Triumphant.
Okay.
I want to actually make this clear for everybody. He was our manager for probably a little bit under a year, and he turned his We Are Triumphant was a management kind of thing, and he switched that over a label and wanted us to sign with him, and we said, no way, this never happened.
But he still kept us on.
Razor and Tie is a cool label to have. They support us with everything.
They helped us with their music videos and starting up, etc.
So they are your first label.
Yes.
I was wondering about that. I was actually trying to figure that out as how that label came up to be in existence. Anyway, it just came out.
Triumphant.
Yeah, it just came out of nowhere. Like all of a sudden,
trolls.
Yeah, you just see it everywhere.
With your time.
Okay. All right. Well, is there anything else you guys want to talk about or mention before we wrap it up?
Honestly, we've covered a lot of new stuff. Like, we've never talked about a lot of this stuff.
Okay,
It's great.
awesome.
We're never writing new music.
We're actually breaking up.
All right. This is Trent from Southeast Pit Report. We're hanging out here with Sworn In.